Let's see. I think it's going live now. Go. Okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. Good. I'm like, I hate technology.
The struggle is real, and it always does it as soon as you're trying to do something.
Yep. All
Uh,
right.
I got this laptop over here trying to cut off, restart. I'm like, oh my
Oh
god.
no. Yes. I think we're live now. Let me just double check on YouTube.
Okay. I do
It,
have on the air. You're in the broadcast.
yeah, I do too, but not on the same one. Is
Okay.
it the link that I sent or no? I don't know. I can't tell.
It's just in the room. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
you did. Yeah.
In our room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to send out a new link or something. I don't know. Okay. So it streamed us some kind of way. Hold on. It streamed us to a different live.
Mm,
And I don't know how to merge them or anything.
mm.
I'm live though.
I know. We're on the air.
Uh,
People can see us.
I don't know if anybody's on. I can't look. I can't tell. So it set this up as a webcam, but oh my goodness. Um, let me see. Chat participants. I don't know.
Do we want to do a reschedule for next Sunday?
No, we're literally live in the room. So hopefully I can delete all this front part. Let me just tell Cliff to in the chat. All right. So I don't know. I can't see us, but we are live. It just went to a different. It just made us do a different thing. It made me do a different
So, have
stream.
how about we reschedule our posts and everything so that we can maybe get the word out that we're doing it next Sunday, maybe,
On
which
next Sunday, I
might
got something
help
else,
us.
but it's live. It's live now. So I just told
But I'm
Cliff to
saying,
post the new link in the YouTube room because there are people in there. I just can't stream to that one for whatever reason. Always something.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, it had 8 in there, and maybe he'll do it.
I don't
Um.
know what.
Hmm?
No, nothing. Yeah,
Oh.
sorry, just a little background noise here.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I should just put it straight to the room in the first place. All right. Okay, well, we're here because this is our launch party for the Wisdom and Balance podcast. And it's actually a double launch party also for season 2 of the Dot Mo Show. And we just want to explain a little bit about what this podcast is about, why we created it, what's been going on, why we thought there was a need for just a new type of information about energy and that whole conversation. And I am here with both co-hosts, Miss Shaquez and Timmy, and we're all three of us. I'm like, I can't with the technology today. Like, okay, what is
Sorry,
going
it's
on?
live. It's real life.
I'm like, oh my goodness. and redoing it is not doing it. I don't even understand. Okay. Was I moving on the other one? Okay,
Yes.
I'm
On the
I'm
other
moving
one, yeah,
here,
before we went to the three, yeah,
and now we're stuck.
we're stuck.
Okay,
Yeah,
there you. There's Shaquez. There's
we're
Timmy.
stuck.
All right. Well, I guess it doesn't want us all side by side. So, Timmy, introduce yourself. You are one of the co-hosts on the Wisdom and Balance podcast. What is this podcast about? What are we bringing to people that is different in the whole scene and landscape that we haven't really heard before? What do you think we're bringing?
I think at the end of the day, it's just what it says, wisdom and balance. We're bringing real conversations about real life situations and how to manage through everyday um, trails. I had to say trails because I couldn't say triumphs, challenges, tragedies, none of that, just trails. And you find a whole lot of stuff when you're on a trail, and that's what we're about.
Yeah. And Miss Shaquez, how you doing today?
I'm good. Well, I worked up a sweat before it started, so this is good. This is relaxing. I'm glad that we're getting to have this conversation.
Yeah. Now, what's your perspective on the Wisdom and Balance podcast? Why are we doing this? What do you think it means to the community, the landscape? What information are we bringing to this?
I see it from two perspectives. I think one, definitely groundedness. I love what Timmy said, trails, because it's a journey. And we bring a grounded perspective on that journey. I think there's a lot of quick fixes out there right now, um, and a lot of noise. There's a lot of
Mm,
noise. So it's a
yeah.
grounded perspective amongst all the noise because we all know what it means to be on a healing journey, learning what it means to reconnect to herself. So we bring that groundedness. I think also I think we demonstrate the collaborative aspect of that trail, of the journey, because people are complex. People are complex, and I think we forget that a lot. And the fact that we have these three different, seemingly opposed perspectives, it shows that it's actually not opposed to each other. It's a collaborative process. And because we have to look at the whole person, I think it's going to show that our different expertise actually line up and paint a beautiful picture and equip you with the tools that you need on the journey. And I hope that it inspires listeners to really start to look at themselves in a more complete way.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that a lot of the conversation has been missing about just energy, what our energy body is, the things that affect it, the real life tangible things that affect it. Everybody's kind of all over the place in this kind of pseudo spiritual realm. Pseudo
Mhm.
spirituality is what I would call it. And but really, the way we choose to live our lives, those ordinary everyday decisions affect how we feel. It affects our mentality. It affects just how we're able to function from day to day. And I think that's what this conversation is about, and what this podcast is about is how to make this truly practical for each and every person, and how to own the uniqueness of your path to create the most ideal life and living situation for yourself. And what are some of those tools and resources that we can bring that are not, I guess, what would I say? I think that a lot of the industry is trying to take advantage of people, take advantage of their vulnerabilities, of their weaknesses, of their wounds. It's like the whole marketing community knows that if we play on certain emotions and fears, then we can manipulate people into doing things. And I think that's what a big part of the industry has been doing, especially when we have that conversation about energy and wellness and things like that, where it's things that we can't necessarily see or pinpoint. And I think a lot of people don't have a clear grasp on how that applies to them And I think this is to really start to help to bring a lot more clarity to the conversation and allow more of us to feel a little bit more empowered in the approach that we take as far as our own health and well-being, our mental health, our emotional health, our spiritual health, all those different things. And when I say spiritual, I don't mean it as in, oh, your praise and worship and all this other stuff. I mean, how are you living from day to day that is allowing your body, your psychology, your emotions to flourish at the highest level that you can? What are those factors that are going to make a difference? And how do you keep yourself in kind of the driver's seat? Because I feel like so many people these days are just taking that power away from people. And that's kind of the issue. It's like, why are we giving away our power? And I think a lot of us don't know it because, again, when we're talking the energy conversation, it's something that some of us can't see with our own eyes. Some of us, most of us can't see it. And so it's kind of hard to make those distinctions about, okay, what am I doing? What am I not doing? And a lot of it is kind of more internal, how we feel. And I think that's a lot of what we're bringing to the industry. Now, would you ladies agree?
Of course, absolutely.
100%.
Yes. I still don't know why I won't let all of us be side by side. I think we're still just stuck.
Okay, let's just roll with it.
Yeah.
One of us each at a time.
I
But I
know.
love the way you said power, Angela, because Alice Walker said the most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any
Mm,
altogether. And I think a lot of times people don't think they have power. So
mm,
you saying power, because this journey is about, and I noticed you said control also. And this journey is about when do we ever have control?
mm,
But power is powerful. And a lot of times we don't understand that control doesn't mean, yes, you're in charge. It means that you've got a charge.
mm-hmm.
You have been energized in your body. You don't have to physically do that action, but you have the ability to have input in that action. Does
Yep.
that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Man, that's so good. And I love that because it's like it's creating all these distinctions, all these kind of pivot points where we can choose to own our own power. Like you said, that delusion or deception that we think we don't have any, but maybe we have a lot more than we think. And, if we can start to point those different areas out, then we can really start to take ownership and have courage, which is a lot of what we talk about in the podcast, is having courage to take ownership of our path, of how we feel as a person and as a individual. And so we do have a live podcast. Unfortunately, I can't even show you any of it right now, like I planned to. I mean, we have this cool reel. Look, I'm gonna post it later. I'm gonna post it later to our page. And I don't know if Cliff is on the chat or not. It's like I can't even get to anything. But he will drop the chats to the Wisdom and Balance podcast, to our YouTube channel, to our Apple, to our Spotify, because we want you to go and listen. We have episodes lined up where we are talking about energy and how it affects us in our lives. We are talking about owning our power and not kind of throwing responsibility over the fence. We are talking about how to set boundaries, say no, or how to decide what we do want and what we do like. And so we're going to be doing all of that this season. And I'm so happy to have my co host with me. We definitely have our main three platforms that we're on. We also have a Facebook group community that we want you all to be a part of, because we'll be in there to continue the conversation. We want to hear what you all want to know about. Is there more that you would want to go deeper into about energy or
I mean,
about any of these things that you can set up? Were
I
you
mean,
saying
if we want
something?
to talk about the topic of parenting, I've dealt with that this weekend, and literally, that's the quickest way that we give up our power because we raise these children. And if you're 70s babies, you've raised your children and you think, oh, giving them the things that we didn't have is the best way to deal with things. Well, how about take from me that learning how to not do that is the best way to deal with things, because look at yourself and ask yourself how you turned out. If you turned out okay, then go back and pick up some of those same things that you were taught and teach them to your kids. Let them fall, let them hit their head, let them bruise that knee, let them try to reach that cabinet and fall trying to get something. Do not overprotect them, because on the back end, that is a problem. We are raising children in this next generation who cannot fend for themselves. They will be drawing from our retirements and all of our inheritance and everything else for a lifetime, sucking the life out of us. That's the best way we give up our power, is by not teaching the next generation how to help themselves.
That's so good. And I feel like we can even say it for this generation. It's like this is how we've gotten in this mess, in this situation. We weren't taught. We didn't know.
Yep.
We talk about all these core wounds and traumas and things like that. Those things mostly started at home.
Yes.
We weren't shown. We weren't taught.
Yes.
Timely had mentors and advisors and her grandparents and aunts and all those things, the wise people who were showing you step by step. But a lot of us didn't have it. And so if we didn't have it, how do we get it?
Yeah, even with that, even with not having it, there are many mentors that you can have today. There are plenty of people who want to be mentors. There are plenty of people around you. Look at the people giving you advice. I think sometimes when we talk about power and we talk about control, we confuse it with, I don't want you in my business. I don't want you talking to me. That's our I call it the cancel generation. The generation of people that want to cancel out anybody else's input, cancel out anything that's too traumatic, cancel out anything that is too much to deal with. How about that's what makes you stronger? Iron sharpens iron, not because the two pieces are smooth, but because the two pieces have friction that when you rub them together, they sharpen each other.
That's so true. And it's not easy. It's not an easy path. And so I think a lot of what this podcast is going to be dealing with is how to deal with those hard situations, how to deal with those hard, painful things that come up when we want to bury our face and not look and not deal with it and distract ourselves. And there are a lot of different ways to distract. Some people use substances to distract and to diminish our sensations. So many ways to do it.
And we're that generation where everyone has used some kind of substance. I'm not a substance user, but I had an ex-husband that was a substance user. And now I have to deal with my offsprings, my children who are young adults who want to say, oh yeah, I just do that socially. But there's nothing like socially. Socially alters you for a second. People don't understand that. But the people around you who are good for you will notice it and tell you. Those people who aren't good for you, they'll engage you and encourage you because they don't want to see you succeed. And how many people am I talking to that have people around them today that don't want to see you succeed? Especially in our generation. I'm a Gen Zer. A Gen Xer. Gen Zer are my kids. But I'm telling you, there's so many. You look around and oh yeah, we're going to go on a girls trip. Oh yeah, we're going here. But then someone ends up killed on the girls trip because someone was jealous of her. You've got to take an assessment of you and then take an assessment of these so-called friends. Because if you're the smartest person in the room, change that room. And that's not as hard as you think. That's called the iron sharpening iron. That's the friction I'm talking about. The good things for you are not always going to feel great at first. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we live in, this society that I said a minute ago, the cancel society. So, oh, I don't like it. Oh, I'm going to cancel it. Oh, I don't like it. Oh, I'm going to cancel it. But some things you have to go through. And we're just not letting people, especially our children, go through anything anymore. We want to run up to the school and talk to the teacher, and she's got to be the problem. No, your kids got to be the problem. And no, it's not a drug that they need to take, it's home discipline. I know I'm all off on a tangent, so I'm going to bow out. I'm going to let Shaquez,
Yes.
because she's good. She's in the
No,
trenches.
look,
Mine are
I
young adults.
No, but see, but this is the beautiful thing
hold
about the
on, hold
podcast
on, time
because
out. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. But I need y'all and myself too to reintroduce ourselves because like we start off. I don't know what happened to the link. I had everything set up. We emailed out this link and then the link went bad and couldn't nobody get on. I couldn't even get on. I couldn't even make it go live, and so we had to create the whole new link, and it's been a whole technological mess. So, I am Dr. Angela Mosley, one of the co hosts of the Wisdom and Violence podcast that is live now on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We are coming out and we have a Facebook group, so join that too. We are going to drop those chats in the or those links in the chat, not the chat in the link, and the links in the chat. And I want my other two co-hosts. Okay, the one who was on just on a tangent. I know Miss Shaquez has something to say, but my other one who was on a tangent. Please introduce yourself, Miss Co-host.
I am health coach Timmy, and I'm a certified health coach since 2012. I'm also a software engineer, but I'm telling you, I'm a life coach as well because most of these things I learned through life. And you can find me on Facebook on Flourishing After 50. It's a Facebook page of women after 50 and men after 50 and certain challenges and certain things that we do to enhance life. And then you can find me in a lot of other spaces, but most of all in our space here with Wisdom and Balance. And glad to be here. Thank you.
Yes. And then our other co-host, Miss Shaquez. Introduce yourself.
hi, so I'm Shaquez, and I'm an energy balancing coach, energy practitioner. You can find me here on the podcast and in our Facebook group. And I'm so glad to be here.
Yes, and tell us what you do.
So I am an energy practitioner. So we're talking about your chakras, we're talking about your meridians, we're understanding how all of that is not mutually exclusive to what they're talking about with life coaching, what they're talking about with wellness, from the functional medicine aspect of our own Doc Mo. So I'll be bringing that aspect that's woefully, woefully needed in the conversation in
Yes.
a grounded way.
Yes, because we don't know about it. Now, you were going to say something after Coach Timmy's rant.
Well,
I went on a rampage.
hey, it's live, real people. And
Yeah.
that's one thing I love about it. We're very real. But that's why I love, 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 love the title of this podcast because I'm a millennial. So I'm one of those generations that most people can agree. There's like, the whiny babies, whatever. At least we get that rap, right? So I'm learning. I'm learning from the other women in this podcast. I'm sharing what I've been through, and I've probably lived enough for 3 lifetimes at this point. So I love being a point of view that has something to offer that I think a lot of flack gets put on our generation. Some of it I agree with, some I don't, but I'm learning as well. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, that's
I
Absolutely.
all.
like it because I'm a Gen Zer. I mean, excuse me, I'm a Gen Xer.
You keep
I keep
saying
saying
Gen Z.
Gen
You
Z.
want to be Gen
Yes.
Z.
No. I have 4 Gen Zs, so I am totally burnt out on the Gen Zs.
Mm.
So it's ingrained in my brain. However, I'm a Gen Xer. And I tell you, all the time we think to ourselves, what in the world is going on with the millennials and the Gen Zs? Because did we do something wrong? And it's absolutely yes, we did do something wrong. I'm going back to that tangent, Shaquez, because we set out to make a good life for you guys. We gave you everything. We gave you the car to go to college with. We gave you the nice house. And oh, by the way, you challenged us to even take the trash out. This weekend, I'm dealing with a son that I've been going through challenges with since he was young. Why I gotta take the trash out? I live in the suburb. I don't see those other little boys taking the trash out. I'm like, you not like those other little boys. We're a whole third world country. We're from a whole third world country, and I expect you to participate. So I'm still fighting the challenges each and every day. However, now, oh, I'm a young adult. Well, if you're a young adult, why is the car in my name? Why is the place in my name? Why is everything else in my name? Because that's what we created. And now I'm paying the price for it. So we have got to wake up and let them and make them deal with the hard falls. Because I had to do it this weekend. You got to deal with the hard fall. I'm sorry, Angela.
There's no apology to be made.
Yes, Angela.
I think the whole point that we're trying to get at is life is not easy.
No, it's not.
Easy.
And he got a whole what is it? Audi Q5, the sport edition, as a 23-year-old, and you're not even finished with college. You still on the 7-year plan, and I'm on the 8-year plan trying to pay your bills. I'm like, no, I can't. No mas, no mas. I can't do that no more. And he has to understand. Yes, you have this side of you, but you have to grow up, and I'm gonna have to right some wrongs quickly. And oh God, please forgive me because I'm going to put this boy out so he understands that he's got to start picking up the tab.
She's hot right now. Don't make me mad.
But see, that's the point. But that is the beauty of the podcast, because you have to look at your life in a multifaceted way. You have to look at yourself in a multifaceted way. So yeah, it's taking all of this into perspective. We're complex and
in our relationships.
And someone said to me the other day, they said, "Oh, well, you were a single parent raising him." I was like, "No, I wasn't a single parent. I married a whole person. We were in school. He had a whole career that he was supposed to be a lawyer, and I was supposed to be a software engineer. I became a software engineer. He didn't become a lawyer. He graduated from law school, but he didn't become who he was supposed to become. So, of course, as you deal with your deficiencies and we divorce, you still have a responsibility to these kids. But you decided that you wanted to do your own thing. So no, I'm not a single parent. I'm a divorcee that is taking care of my children by myself. And that's what I did for 14 years. And so at the end of the day, I have to make that distinction, because a lot of people want to say, oh, well, that's a single parent and that's a single parent. No, there's a distinction between a person who decides to raise a kid as a single parent and a person who was forced and thrust into a situation of being a divorcee, who now has to take the primary responsibility to raise some kids that are theirs. And I said it like that. So don't blame me for being a parent. Don't blame me for giving birth 4 times. Don't blame me because I was married and I gave birth to all those kids. So I had the responsibility of understanding that they were my responsibility. How many of you out there are like that?
Yeah. And it's true. I feel like this goes right back to what is the point of the podcast? Because we have hurts, we have injustices that happen. And then how do we take those situations that are given to us, the relationships that we have? We didn't get to choose our parents. We don't get to choose our kids. I mean, we could choose the spouse, but you don't always know how that's going to work out. And how are those things affecting us at a deeper level? And again, what are those pivot points where we can choose to have ownership and control of ourselves and still get ourselves on a path to make the best situations for ourselves, because so many people feel exhausted, drained, can't focus. Your health is breaking down because of this kind of stuff.
Exactly. And it's not, and you don't have to break down. You have to let go. Those people, because I can guarantee that the average person is dealing with a young adult. Well, if you have a young adult, is dealing with a young adult that's telling you that they're grown. So if you're grown, turn your key in your own damn place. Pay your own damn bills. And don't come see me and don't bring me your drama with your kids, your friends, all the bad choices you made because you grown. But if you're not grown and you want to hear my wisdom, then come talk to me. Because that's what it is at the end of the day. Angela, back me up. Because that's what we're dealing with. Oh, I'm grown. Don't ask me to do this. Don't tell me what to do, but you can't pay your own bills.
It's true out here. It's true. And I think in general, like even if we generalize it, so many people aren't taking responsibility for their own lives. Now, when you're talking about transition of young adults and things like that, they have a different set of challenges. But what about the rest of us who have been out the house, who are on our
Yeah.
own, who are trying to figure it out, who still can't quite make it work, who have jobs? Because like I can see the same dynamic happening with a boss and an employee. Why do
Yes.
I gotta show up? Why do I have to do my
Yeah.
job?
You got to show up because that's your
Why?
job. Yeah. And and I see that so often. So yeah, I'm talking about kids, but I'm a manager and I deal with it in corporate America. Oh, why do I have to do that? Because that's part of your job description. Like the basics. So at the end of the day, why do I have to tell you to do the why do I have to show you a picture of how you should dress? Why? Why? Why do I need to show you like granimals? Here's the matching outfit that you should wear so that you represent us in a way that can continue to create revenue so that you can get paid. Like, why do I have to explain how you get paid? That's the part that really discourages us Gen Xers at this point, because we grew up behind the other folks, the baby boomers, and we saw them work hard, go work for 30 years, retire from some. We didn't get that benefit because 30 years was gone by the time we started. And
Hmm.
now our Gen Zs and our millennials, they're looking at us like, we want to start our own business. But they don't want to work for the business. They don't want to dress for the business. They don't know how to code switch. They don't know how to do anything because, oh, I don't feel like it today. Well, you know how many times I didn't feel like it, but I had to do it because at the end of the day, that was a that was my money. That was my bread. So what? You think I'm going to pass up my bread because I can't put my hair, I can't groom myself in a day? Oh no, I don't want to do all that. I don't want to groom myself. I've heard it so many times. I'm like, oh, you don't want to put on a bra to come to work? You don't need to be here. Bye. I know I'm on a tangent, Angela. I'm
No,
sorry.
I know, but it's like you're bringing up like real situations, but these
Yeah.
are the things that we in a way talk about, because like what is that not feeling like it? Where is that coming from? It's coming from somewhere. And really that's what the podcast is about, is what's underneath all that. Because yes, those are the surface level situations and issues that are happening. But beneath that, there's something happening internally, in the mind,
Absolutely.
in the heart and the emotions, at even the soul
Absolutely.
level, at the energetic level that we are not always aware of, because those are the invisible things. And that's
Mhm.
what we're having this conversation about, is what are those invisible factors that we could just ignore and just say it's just about me not wanting to. No, that comes from somewhere, and there are probably about 20 to 50 different factors that go into that not wanting to, and that's what we want to uncover and expose and say, okay, if I have resistance to this, and a lot of us are unaware of it, And this is why we bring up certain situations, certain specific situations, so that we can start to make those connections and those realizations of, hey, you know what? I have this situation going on too. So we can start to think about those things and how those issues are showing up in our lives too. Because what we're saying is it keeps us back from maximizing our full potential in life. And that's
It's like it goes back to what Maya Angelou said. If you can't do something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. We're living with a whole generation that won't change your attitude. And we grew up changing our attitude about it. But this generation is like, oh my gosh, you want me to change my attitude? But I still need to be paid. I still need the benefits. I still need this. I still need that. Oh my gosh, mom, you're cutting me off from that because I refuse to do you refuse to do something and you're not paying for it. So how hard is that to understand? And that's not a mental health situation because everything stems back to, oh my gosh, it's mental health. Well, guess what? Go get a therapist and keep them on payroll.
yes.
And I want to say that's so interesting because I come from both sides of that. So this generational kind of entitlement and having to learn to eat some humble pie the older I got,
Mhm.
the,
Yeah,
the way I wanted to do it, my entitled attitude wasn't going to cut it. And though, from this other side of having real pain and injustices that needed to be healed and continue to need to be healed, and having to learn that empowerment, having to learn that there is still something I can do, that I can change me. I can get in a situation where I'm safe. I can then choose to do something, even if it's as simple as I'm going to learn how to breathe today. I'm going to learn how to ground myself today, dealing with true mental health challenges that really require me to rise to the occasion, to do exactly like you said, Angela, to figure out what are these 20 to 50 invisible things that are holding me back from where I want to be.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I say all the time, and it goes back to what Maya Angelou said. People will forget what you said. People will even forget what you did. Because eventually, even for my own family, I'm going to get old. I'm going to forget what you said. I'm even going to forget what you did. But people never forget how you made them feel. And that's the basic concept of people today. They've got to come back to treating people respectfully, make them feel like worthy and something good. But we have a whole, back to that cancel community, that cancel society. I don't care what you think. This is how I feel today. How about care about somebody else so that they can care about you in the next? You know how many people were my mentors that pushed me to the next level? Push a person to the next level by some kind words, and you might get pushed. But say some crass, excuse my expression, shit, and you might end up with some shit. Sorry, Angela.
Now
I wasn't
I
supposed to say
said
that.
this is a clean broad class. And now I gotta edit stuff. I mean, I already gotta cut out the whole beginning with the whole mess. But again, we are real people. And look, literally, our podcast episodes, it's kind of like this, but it's not like this. No, like Timmy's kids pissed her off today. Today, like right before this. So this is why she's
Yes.
on a tangent and a rampage right now. And so really the podcast really is about, owning our energy, owning
And
our
it's
power.
real. It's real
Yeah. And
because
understanding that it's real.
I can't honestly say, Angela, that they piss me off. I created this and I have to own that. I'm a whole health coach. I know that this stuff can make you or break you. Health is not just about what you eat, how we exercise, how we
Mhm.
do. It's what Shaquez is talking about. It's how we balance stuff. It's what Dr. Angela is talking about. She was my doctor before I even became her health coach. She was, hey, you might need to do this to reduce your cholesterol. You might need to do this to reduce your blood pressure. But some of the main things that we need to establish in our whole life is the things that are around us. What is
Mhm.
affecting you daily? And my kids are like 4 bad divorces. And
Mhm.
so at the end of the day, I say to them, okay, this is how I'm going to handle X, because each child wants their own special attention all the time. And that weighs on my health. And
Mhm.
as the more people start understanding that is the predator to good health, the better you understand it. Sometimes some of those things you have to let go. I don't have to be involved in you and your friend's issue. I don't have to be involved in the choices that you make. I can help you, but I don't want to be involved.
Mhm.
And that's a real judgment, because the way social media is today, the way we have information, and I'm a software engineer. So information comes every 4 seconds to us now. And with that much information, if we keep consuming it in our brain, yes, our brain can expand, it can grow, and it can continue to develop. But if we keep consuming a plethora of useless minutia, we will kill ourselves. So call no mas, no mas. Angela, it's on you.
It's true. And what you're talking about is setting boundaries. And that's
Yes,
what all of us have to do is decide, and partially, our first episode is about, am I having a spiritual awakening? Because so many people have this discomfort inside and we can feel it. And then there's this kind of moment of, something's different. I feel awake or enlightened in some way. And we have this realization and things start to change for us. And then we have to get into
Mhm.
the process of setting the boundaries, decide. And so this
no,
is
you're
about,
good. We can hear
okay.
you.
Yeah, I thought it
Yeah.
it stopped or something. But those are the decisions that we want to make and that we need to know how to make and that we need to pay attention to. And so it's just
Mhm.
helping with that
And
dialogue because
Shaquille's is right in the middle of that.
yeah, and she mentioned, there's so much noise and chaos where what is happening with Timmy and her kids right now, there are
Mhm.
predators ready to pounce on that emotion, on her anger right now,
That's right.
Mhm.
and say, "Oh, we can fix this for you." But she knows how to fix it. Yes, is she in the heat of her emotions right now? Sure. But she understands how to set those boundaries. She already said it. And so the rest of us need to understand how to own our power too. Can we have our emotions? Yes. But is that going
Yeah.
to be controlling us?
Mhm.
This is the
Yes.
thing, not to have other outside things controlling us. And that's really
Mhm.
the point of this podcast. We are going to be, and we are on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We have our own YouTube channel, the Wellness and Balance
Absolutely.
Podcast, our YouTube channel. We have a Facebook community. Join our communities. We are going to drop the links in the chat for you to join and for you to watch. And we do have a giveaway, a $100. If y'all stuck with us listening to
Can you
our
add the
rant,
link to this to Flourishing
yes,
After 50 also?
we're dropping the links. And
To
so
Flourishing After 50, my Facebook group, because
look,
they
well,
need to hear this too. Yeah.
we'll drop the link because I didn't give the link to my helper ahead of time. So we can drop it in the Facebook group. So if you go to the Wellness
Okay.
and Balance podcast Facebook group, I think it's
And I can
WB
forward it to the
Podcast.
other group, right?
Then you can drop your link in there. So come to our group. You'll get an extra group, a bonus group. And if you follow our podcast, subscribe on your favorite platform, whether it's Apple or Spotify or YouTube. We'll enter you in our drawing up to 3 times, but you have to subscribe. And on either Apple or Spotify, Give us a 5-star rating if you like it. But listen to the podcast. Don't just be like, oh yeah, I love this for no reason. If you really love it, do it. And then send me proof that you did it. On YouTube, then you can definitely subscribe to that. And how about leave me a comment? Leave me a comment on one of the videos. Show me. I have to see it because sometimes I don't know your screen name. So how will I know who is going to be the winner of the drawing? So if you do it, send me a screenshot to my email, connect, CONNECT at MOMA, MOMA wellness.com. Connect at MOMAwellness.com. And let me know. We have until Wednesday, this Wednesday, June, is that the 3rd? No, the 4th. Wednesday, June 4th at 5 p.m. Central. So listen for the next couple of days. Subscribe, leave a review, and send me the proof. And then I'll enter you in the drawing for a $100 Amazon gift card. And Shaquez, any final words from you about the podcast?
It's all about being real. It really is.
Yes.
Authenticity. We're going to talk about
Yes.
that a lot. I know that's a buzzword right now, but that's what it is. We've all learned how
Yes.
to come back to ourselves and be real,
Yes.
for better or for worse.
Yes.
At least it's real because then you can do something with it, with what is actually real. You can change
Yes.
when it's actually real. It's authentic to you. So stick around if you want to hear that. And if you are ready to maybe learn yourself, relearn yourself, maybe you think
Yep.
you know a lot about yourself already. Well, maybe this will inspire, again, a way for you to look at yourself in a way you hadn't thought about before.
Yes.
And what I love is that both of my co hosts used energetic terms. They were using words
Yes.
like power, charge. So I hope that is an inspiration to you listeners of how this is all connected full circle because it is my
Yes.
goal to make this so understandable and de woo woo wise kind of these terms that I don't know if a lot of energy practitioners have given it its due justice and made it seem like it's somewhere out there somewhere. So I want to make it grounded. And I hope that you hear, because we use these terms all the time in our daily language. You are truly talking about something that is real and tangible. And it's my goal and hope to help you understand that better.
Yes.
Absolutely, Quiz.
Yep. I love it. Thank you, ladies, for being here on our launch party for the Wisdom and Balance
I haven't
podcast.
given my closing.
I know. I was like, Tim Lee, are you still mad though? Are you still mad?
I am definitely not mad. I just want to say that life is lifing. And a lot of times it looks different for everybody. However, life takes different turns, and we always have to pivot for each one of those turns. What Shaquez said was very, very real because life for her, she could relate to many of the different situations. Yes, for me this week, life was lifing. I had one child graduate with her master's and another child go backwards. But at the end of the day, life was lifing. And that's what this podcast is all about. It's about understanding how to get through those trails. That journey is not easy, but we're here to help you through that journey. We're here to talk to you about real life situation. There's real life divorce. There's real life managing kids. There's real life being married and having the day-to-day responsibility of taking care of everyone. There's real life work situations. There's real life executive situations. There's real life, how do I just handle a change? So when you come here, we're going to talk to you real. When the change happens, here's what we think. Because at the end of the day, if you want to stay on this earth for much longer, you want to be able to cancel that noise, cancel that that community that wants you to fail and live your best life as long as you can live, because everything that you wrote down that you need and you want, you're going to get as long as you stay on the trail, on the journey, on the path. Okay, Angela, I'm done.
I'm like, what did you do? Tear the house up? Start an earthquake?
I probably did.
It's all energy. It is all energy.
It's all energy. Thank you, Shaquez.
This is us. These are our co-hosts. And I am Dr. Angela Mosley. Again, I wanted to put this together because there's a gap. There is a gap in our information and in our knowledge, especially around energy and around how making those decisions around real life situations will affect us, truly affect us, our body, our mentality, all of it from top to bottom. And so, that's again why we're here. Timmy, I'm about to mute you. Okay, good. I think I did it. Yes. Yay. All right. And I actually do have another podcast. We weren't supposed to go this long on the first one. First, we were like trying to figure out the tech, and then, we got on a rant and a tangent and all that. But I do have another podcast, the Dot Mo Show, that I did want to talk about because we are launching season 2. And the reason that I started that podcast in the first place was because this is about natural wellness and functional medicine. And even in the natural wellness and functional medicine space, there is so much chaotic noise and so much confusion and just information that's all over the place. And how do we get that information that we know is correct and true and that applies to us? This is why so many people are struggling to actually get the solutions that they need for their health, because marketers are good, salespeople are good. They're gonna say, buy my supplement, buy my product. It's gonna help your low energy. It's gonna help your brain fog. It's gonna help your hair loss. It's gonna help your this, that, and everything else, when it's not, because that is not how the body works. The body works. We got to start with us first. We got to start at ground zero, central to ourselves, and work out to create a solution. And that's what the Dot Mo Show podcast is about. It's like how to start with yourself and build out a comprehensive solution that will actually work for you. And that's what, I center all the episodes around, and we start talking deeper about the different topics in the body and in the health that I think people don't understand much. And even in the kind of education space when it comes to health and wellness, there are practitioners, sometimes physicians, other people who educate, who focus on like one little small part of the story. Like certain people will focus on lectins, that's one of the common ones. Or I'm trying to think of what else. They got everybody on this what do you call it? The fasting, the intermittent fasting. Oh, so you mean like eat dinner and then don't eat till breakfast? That's literally intermittent fasting. But, we got to put a label on it and put a term on it, instead of snacking all night and all those different things. But then they want to add in, and throw in these little terms to, get people thinking that you have more information than you may actually have. It's stimulating processes in my body to break down the cells that need to go away and all these different things. But the body is so much more complex than that. I can't even remember what the term is. You could drop it in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. But autophagy or something like that. So, so they want to focus on this one little thing. But you don't understand that the body has so many different processes that it has to go through in order to do that one thing. So it's not just, oh, if I do intermittent fasting, then my body's going to start the autophagy process. That is not how it works. These people are lying to you. I promise you. It's so much more complex. You have to understand how all the systems fit together, and then that's how you can create a plan. But it doesn't, when we're managing it, it doesn't have to be that complex, because the things that we do on a day-to-day basis are very basic and simple. But we have so many options of what we can do for our nutrition and for eating. We have so many options of what we can do for our fitness and physical activity. We have so many options of what we can use as far as products. We have so many options of what we can do as far as our environment. How do we start to put those pieces together and create and build a life and a lifestyle that's actually going to work for us? And that's what my Doc Mo Show podcast is about. Plus, I have guests that we have on who talk about specialty topics like menopause, about the other technologies that we can use so that we're more educated on these different things. Because in everything, there are people who are doing things the right way, and then there are people who are doing things the wrong way. And we need to know those distinctions while we're making decisions for ourselves. So again, this is about going back to empowerment, putting the power back in your hands by putting the information in front of you so that you're able to make those decisions in a very clear and distinct way. The Doc Mo Show is on all the podcast platforms. It's on Apple, it's on Spotify. Hey, guess what? I have another gift card if you want it. So, we're doing a drawing for it. So I have one for the Wisdom and Balance podcast, and I have another $100 Amazon gift card for the Doc Mo Show podcast. You got to go on, you got to subscribe, you got to leave me a 5-star review if you actually like it that much, and let me know. We're going to drop the link to the podcast in the chat so that you can subscribe. Listen, you are on the Doc Mo Show YouTube channel right now, so hit subscribe right now. So at least that one's done. Leave me a comment and let me know how you're enjoying this. And that's what this is for. I also have a Facebook community called the Doctor's Lounge, and we'll drop a link for that too, that you can become a part of so that you can be aware when we are having certain events and that we're inviting people to, and that you can be a part of this community, and really we can support each other. If you do have questions, I have a Q&A once a month, the first Tuesday of the month, which means it's coming up this Tuesday in 2 days. And so if you are a part of the community, then you'll get notified about that. And so you can join us for that to continue to just be a part of it and learn as much as we can. And I'm even still learning. There is nobody who knows all of this. We are not going to just somehow magically know everything. The amount that we actually know about how the body works and functions is so small. So we have so much learning to do. But there are so many real steps you can take to improve your health, because so many of us are just suffering with exhaustion, fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, can't sleep, or you sleep and then you wake up and you're exhausted, you're irritated, your mood is all out of whack and out of balance. And it's for a lot of different reasons. There's never just one thing. And that's another myth that I deal with on the podcast, is that this isn't about one root cause. There are multiple. Usually when I'm looking at root causes, I'm starting with 10 basic root causes up front. 10, not one. Oh, we'll get to the root cause. There's not the root cause. There are a lot. In each and every person, there are multiple. And so that's what we want to expose and start to learn more about as we go through this podcast. So join me on the podcast. Join me in the community. On both podcasts, we are dropping new episodes on Mondays. So today, you get a bonus day because we dropped our new episodes today on Sunday. But every week, come back on Monday. So come back next week and we will have new episodes ready for you as we continue the discussion about energy, our psychology, and our health in that area, and as we talk about our physical body on the Dot Mo Show. So join me for both podcasts. I know it's like a double birthday party, but I love it. And I hope to see you there. So, all right, take care. I think Shaquiz kind of stayed with me. Hey, girl. And thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching if you did get to hang out with me this time. And I'm so glad you were here. And I'll see you soon. I'll see you on the podcast. We'll see you at events. I have a lot of events lined up for June. This is why you want to join the community, so that you are in the loop and that you know about what's going on, about everything that's coming up soon. All right. Talk to you later. Have a good evening. Bye.